Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to the Columbus School of Chinese and our show, Ask a Chinese Teacher. Today's topic is verb complements, which is kind of a sticky, tricky grammar situation that we have in Mandarin that we don't really have in English. And this is something that I have a couple classes who are just getting into reading chapter books for the first time. They're getting into those intermediate tier of grammar points and grammar structures, and this is something that every student will have to struggle with because we really don't have verb complements in English like we do in Mandarin. So I kind of want to cover this in a general sense today, give you an idea of what complements can do, introduce you to some of the categories of them, and then in subsequent videos I'll break them down even further. We'll do a closer study of them. What do complements do? Well, they give you some kind of extra information about that verb or about that adjective. If that sounds like a very broad statement, it is. It's supposed to be. Depending on what kind of complement you're using, it can give different kinds of information. For example, it can give you information about the degree of a verb or an adjective. It can give you information about the direction of an action. It can give you information about the potentiality for something to happen or not. And there's different categories of complements, three of which I'll introduce today. So the first complement we're going to look at today is a resultative complement. Resultative complements give you information about the result of an action. Has something been finished or not? Okay. So to form any of these complements, we have a verb. Then right on the back of it, we're going to have its complement. The complement we're going to look at for this category today is wan. So the structure verb plus wan is going to give you information about the result of that action being achieved or not. So let's take a verb that works well with this wan resultative complement. The verb 做. 做 means to do. 做完 means to finish doing something. 做完 to complete. Take another verb, 看 to read or to watch. 看完 to finish reading or finish watching something, right? If you finished watching a long movie, you can say 我看完了. Another one real quick, 吃 to eat. 吃完 to finish eating. The second category of complements I want to talk about are potential complements. These have to do with the potentiality of something to happen or not. So one potentiality that language learners are all familiar with is the potential to understand what you're hearing or understand what you're reading, right? So let's use this understand potential complement. 懂, 懂. 懂 by itself means to understand. So if we put the verb 听 in front of it, 听懂 means to be able to understand what you're hearing. To understand what you're hearing. If you understand what you just heard, you can say 我听懂了. I have understood what is said. Or same thing with reading something. If you see a new character or you see some written Chinese and you understand what you're saying, you can say 我看懂了. 看懂 means to understand what you are seeing, understand what you are reading. All right, so the third category I want to talk about today, and these are just three of many categories. There are different categories that we can get into later, is directional complements. These directional complements give information about the direction of the action. Simple directional complements are formed by having a 来 or a 去 on the back of a verb. So 来 and 去 are two very common directional complements. If something is moving towards the reference point of the speaker, you would use 来 as your complement. If the action is moving away from the reference point of the speaker, then you want to use a 去. So for example, the verb 进, 进, to enter. 进来 means someone's entering towards the speaker. I'm in a room right in front of me here. You can't see it, but there is a door. If someone walked into the room towards me, I would say 他进来了. He came in. He came in as opposed to went in, right? If we want to say went in, If I'm standing out in the hallway and I saw someone go into the room, I would say 他进去了. Here's where we would use 去. Okay, so this is a very simplified introduction to complements. Complements give you additional information of some sort for an action or for the adjective that they're attached to. I know this is a very difficult thing to wrap your brain around, but they're very common, and you're going to slowly get more and more comfortable with them. And once you can wield them yourself, it's going to unlock a lot of potentiality to express yourself in Mandarin, because they are very powerful to use in expression. So if you'd like to see me go through each one of these categories or something specific explained in more detail, I'm very happy to do so. There's a lot to talk about here, so please let me know.